In China, they say he left as a donkey, he never come back as a horse. And you know what does that mean. So here you see, when the Muslim, they speak about Muhammad, the fornicator. You see, do you remember the guy with his name, Rafi, Zachariah, what's his name? He had sex scandal. The Muslim made videos, he had sex with the women, she did massage for him. Look who's talking. What he did is a shame, because this is against the teaching of Christ. But according to your religion, adultery is something to be proud about. It. Look, you are making videos speaking about your prophet having many, many wives, and yet you are talking openly, loudly, proud about it, that the prophet used to sleep with the maid. The wife she leave, we sleep with the maid. So this guy who did sex scandal, Zachariah, Christians, they, I don't know really if he did it or not. That's what they say. I cannot speak against a dead man. But if he did, we spit at what he did. That is not the teaching of Christ. He's a fake man. But your prophet is the one who made sex out of marriage a great thing to practice. If you ask the Muslims, Muhammad, he have 13 wives, why he need all those women around him to sleep with them too? When the Muslims, they say, we Muslims, we need 4 wives so the man can be satisfied. Look how stupid what they are saying. Most of Muslim men, they cannot even have sex for they are, like once when I was in Asia, a woman, she came to me, she said, are you an Arab? I said, why? She said, we like Arab customers. I said, what customers? Customers. I said, what customers? She said, I said, I don't know. And what do you do exactly? She said, I said, okay, why you like Arab customers? She said, because they finish so fast. A rabbit in 2 seconds. Okay, so the prophet now, he have 13 wives. Why he is sleeping with more women? If 13 women, they cannot give you what you need, who is going to give you what you need? And why the Muslim men, they can have only 4 and the prophet have unlimited numbers of wives? And his wives is something Islam mean a woman you can sleep with, or obviously Muhammad, he can sleep with anyone? Do you see it? Why Muhammad is sleeping with a slave? You tell me. In the hadith, there's a hadith where Aisha, adultery, zina allowed in Islam? Sure, it's allowed. Let me show you. Here we go. House of Saudi, why you don't call me, my friend? We will have a nice conversation, me and you. Actually, I will make you an admin if you call me. I promise. What do you think? I'm trying to tempt him, okay? Zina is halal in Islam? Yes, here we go. Did you stone your prophet for having sex with Mary the Copt and she is not his wife? I'm waiting for your answer. Did you whip him? Did you stone him? Did you beat him? Did you put him in jail? Did you rebuke him? No. Actually, Allah, He made a verse for you saying, why you forbid the women? Allah, He made her lawful for you. I'm waiting for your answer. Isn't it chapter of At-Tahrim? Verse number 1 is about this. Allah, here we go, this is At-Tahrim. Verse number 1. Oh Prophet, how you do ban yourself that Allah, He made lawful for you? Seeking to please your wives. Okay, question, where Allah, He made it lawful for him? This is zina. Sex out of marriage is zina. You do not need to be a genius to know. All right, let's see. Are we back? Because I lost connection for like maybe a few seconds. Am I heard, guys? I hope so. So the Prophet, why do you ban yourself that Allah, He made lawful for you to make your wife happy, huh? You do that? And then the Muslims, they start lying. They say the Prophet, he ate honey, and the women, they don't like his smell. Yeah, Muhammad, you stink, I agree. But not from the, I mean, imagine, guys. Imagine the fabrication when the Muslims, they try to defend their Prophet. They say this is about honey. But Yasir Qadi, he got them busted. He said, what does this have to do with honey? This is about Muhammad having sex with Mary the Copt. So marrying more than one wife, okay, you see, you're stupid. Did he marry her? House of Saudi. I mean, your name is a treasure. It's a certification of intelligent. I mean, I'm not wondering why your answer is coming very funny and silly. Are you saying marrying is zina? He did not marry her. What's wrong with you? Did he? And in Islam, yes, it's a zina. Because Muslims don't marry. You have a contract for sex. Even your Prophet, he made a new contract. It's called muta. Muta. And what muta mean? You rent the women. I mean, it is very funny when the Muslims, they speak about sex scandals, when they are following the most perverted man ever in history. From sex with the children, to kidnapping women or rape them. He even slept with women, dead women in the grave. They asked the Prophet, what are you doing? We never saw such a thing before. He said, so the squeeze of the grave will be less on her. What? If the Prophet, he sleep with the women and she is naked in the grave, that will make the grave not to squeeze her? Are you sure? If the Prophet now exist, how many women Muhammad he will be, how many dead women they will request him, like before they die in their will, they will say, we pay the Prophet like $1 million to sleep with us in the grave. Why the Prophet he slept with the women, dead women in the grave? Even dead women in the grave? I mean, what is left? Children's, dead women. His own son, wife, the maid. What's wrong with this guy? And then we find that Muhammad himself is saying that he was the most weak person in sexual intercourse. And then Allah, he sent him a dish of sis kebab. Like, what the heck? Isn't it his Maria, his right hand possession? No. You see, Malakatul Yamin is women who you capture them from war. Slaves are not considered from those. You can go right now and search on Google. Malakatul Yamin is something you took by your right hand. That's why it's called Yamin, which means by war. All right? So he took them by war, so he is allowed to read them. And this is even allowed to the Muslims too, all the Muslims. Mary, she is not his wife, and she was not captured by war. She was a gift from the ruler of Egypt. He sent her with a bunch of cousins of her to Muhammad, and he was raping them all. All right? Yeah, you can search right now. Okay. Let us show you. So the Prophet, he was honored by Allah. Let me see if I can find the hadith in English. Give me a second. But we don't know. If this is translated. No. Okay, hold on. Let me just find it in different place. Oh boy. We have to use Google Translation. Alright, this is the book of Majma' al-Zawaid wa Manba' al-Fawaid, volume number 9, page number 257, hadith number 15400. And I will give you the link for it after I read it. It says here, لما ماتت فاطمة أم علي ابن أبي طالب, Fatima, the mother of Ali, she died. The Prophet, he took off his clothing, his shirt, and he put it in the top of her. You know, when the women, she die, or a man, they took off their clothes totally, and they washed them. And, you know, usually they cover them by a sheet, or, you know, a clothes of somebody, he is close to them, supposedly. So he covered her by his sheet. And then we says, وَضَّجَعَ فِي قَبْرِهَا, and he stepped with her in the grave. And when they put in the top of her the soil or the sand, they said to him, we never saw such a thing. You did something nobody did before. Remember carefully, the Arab, they said, you did something no one did before you. He said, I clothed her with my clothing or my shirt, so she will wear the clothes of heaven. And I stepped with her in her grave to make the squeeze of the pressure of the grave better for her. And this is the hadith, will be translated for you in your eyes, in the front of your eyes, translate to English. All right. When Fatima, the mother of Ali Abu Talib, she died, okay, he took off his shirt and he put it on her, and he lay down with her in the grave. This is Google translation, not too much perfect, but it's doing the job. And then they said to him, why you did such a thing nobody did before you? You know? Why you did such a thing? This is something nobody did before you. He said, I clothed her with my clothes so she would wear the clothes of paradise, and I lay down with her in her grave to temper the pressure of the tomb, as it says here in translation, to make it easy. You know, mentally ill, mentally sick. And this is even against the Quran, because Muhammad, he says, if you intercede to them or you don't intercede, the intercession is not accepted. Even Muhammad, he tried to intercede to his own mother. His intercession was refused, supposedly. So how Muhammad, he come, where did Allah told him this? Did Allah told him this idea, if you take off your clothes? Or this is a fabrication of Muhammad? Let me give you the link so you can save it in your reference if you want. All those verses chapter 2 verse number 48, chapter 2 130, it says, you know, nobody can give you an intercession. And different verses, except what Allah he gave you. But in many verses says no one intercession will be accepted. Contradiction. If you search for the topic intercession in Islam, you would go crazy. See how stupid this religion is. قُلْ لِلَّهِ الشَّفَاعَةُ جَمِيعًا. It's only for Allah intercession. Nobody can intercede for you. Nobody. So how Muhammad is, and she is a kafir. They are not going to go to heaven anyway. So why he is going? What does that mean? Now we go back to our topic.